making AI stuff, so they don't even have to like do any of the
There's
real
people
work.
out there not even putting their faces into videos. They just type things into an AI. They say, AI, make a script for me, put a voice on it, make a video for it, and they're millionaires.
Well, and actually, that brings up the next point is farming views versus building an actual connection with your audience. Because if that kid that's 14 years old that's just farming views goes away, people might miss it for a minute, but they're not going to think, how's that AI kid doing?
Yeah,
there's no connection there.
There's such thing as disposable content, which is kind of gonna come and go and not really be attached to any name, or it's just gonna be something that exists, and it can even go viral, but it doesn't have a like people don't even know where it came from.
Where it has no source really, and you know what? If he goes to a Comic-Con to set up a little table to meet people, no one knows who he is,
And
which is desirable to some and not to others. I love the idea of getting big enough where I can go to these cool events and talk to other creators, and they would know who I am and I would know who they are, and then we could start fake rivalries where we hate each other, but actually talk dog friendly outside of the place, like how Tekken. Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat hate each other, but there's massive respect on both sides, but they can't ever show it.
Yeah, people love to just have something to debate about.
Yeah, it's a fun hatred. So today we're going to be talking about Brandon and I's starting a channel from zero on YouTube. Content creation 101.
How it feels and how to do it, and
oh yeah, the feeling of posting with 0 views. No one cares, no one watches.
That was even more the case, when YouTube first started, like people being able to find your channel. But now with Reels, you can get people can see it. They put it out to a certain amount of people for them to see it and then judge it and then hate comment on it and then leave 10 seconds after it starts.
Yes, the hate comments. We thrive on hate comments.
Well, they say, once you got people hating on it, that's engagement, and that means you're doing well. Once people are in there, commenting and hating in the comments.
Yeah, actively taking time out of their busy, overstimulated lives to tell you how much you suck.
My question has been on content creation for TikTok and other stuff. When I have big hits, is like when people are just really railing you, like, do I even want that on my channel? Do I even want people to see that? But I mean, generally, you just let it. Would you cut the hate comments or leave the hate comments?
No, those are more the flame war is what I want.
Yeah,
I want flame wars. On one of my channels with Tawny, I had a short where we were talking about incels and the hypocrisy of the gooners who hate the women that they support. So you got these guys that are giving these girls, anywhere from $5 to $5 million, and the girls get nothing but hate.
they do.
And it's weird because it's like it's supported entirely from, it's the same people that support them financially that hate them, that refuse to support them in real life or in actuality. So there's a hypocrisy in there. And one of the comments was that me and Tawny were awful and unscrupulous, and a little flame war has started in the comments. And
You're awful for saying what?
I think the person misinterpreted it because it's short and is out of the context was there.
Yeah.
But not everyone
they didn't agree with what you were saying.
Yeah.
And they called you awful for that?
Yeah. And you know what? The flame war is other people going, Gooner suspected. And I need that for the engagement.
It's funny. I mean, it's
the flame war.
That should be the reaction to anybody talking crap on a video, is just relentless, just mocking them.
Back and forth.
Yeah.
And, one person says something stupid or insightful or what they think, and other people being awful back. And that flame war is fuel. We need more of that. So it's awkward to tell people that I have a podcast studio when it only has like 15 subscribers. You know, I mean, obviously we just started this whole thing and whatever, but it's, if we had 10,000, it'd be much easier to talk about.
It's the beginning stages. I think
I have people that want to come on, but they're kind of important. And I kind of had to because I kind of undersold it. I've got a guy, that, you know, his fiance's like, oh, he would love to do that. And I know we would get an immediate bump in subscribers if I brought him on, but I want to have a little bit more legitimacy before I bring him on. It's like if we started this and somehow you got the vice president of the United States or Governor Gavin Newsom or one of them people to show up, like, it'd be a little embarrassing. You know, we're a tiny little thing.
I don't necessarily see it like that, you know, because
I got an ego. I'm fragile.
If you're creating a video and looks good and you know, doesn't matter how many people you're starting with, because that's how everybody has to start. Nothing.
Well, I just don't want to well, there's also the thought of you know, you get one of these people on and it's your best video that you've ever made. And then the next, okay, we get Governor Newsom in here and then Spencer Pratt in here. Who's next? The homeless guy off the fucking road? Who else do we got? I don't have the pool. I'm sure if we got somebody that big, I could get a whole bunch of people in here. So there was obviously the anxiety of the first upload, you know, of just getting, you know, your first bit of content out there. You don't know if it's any good. Does the sound good? Does the framing look good? Does my skin look nice? Does my hair look bad? I'm not having a good hair day, so it's a hat day.
People want to be prepared, but most people probably over prepare.
And then once you get those things done, once you get your lighting dialed in, your background looks good. You know, the camera angles are right, the sound quality is good. You're consistent, but you're still not getting any results. So what are you doing wrong? And you could still do everything right, but still not win, is one of the little examples just from everyday life. And, you know, eventually, why are we doing this? It's, but here's the thing is most people quit early because they expect when they do their first upload that they're going to have, you know, 1,000 views or, you know, people commenting and this and that.
Yeah.
And it takes a while.
The truth about content creation for anybody, and I've studied this, is like they'll post something and not be good for a long time. No, not necessarily be good, but not be viewed for a long time. And it takes time to build the consistency and to build the audience. It's just not possible to go from 0 to 1,000 just in 2 seconds.
I mean, okay. If Carmen Electra started her own podcast, she'd probably get a couple thousand right off the bat.
The scale would change, but it would be the same where like it would be a small percentage of her audience at the beginning and then it would build over time. And you watch creators grow over time. They all start at a certain point and build.
Yeah, I wonder where Mr. Beast. You know what? If it wasn't for everyone else talking about it, I've never seen more than. I don't think I've ever seen anything on Mr. Beast.
I ate some Mr. Beast beef jerky today.
I know he's actually the most I've ever watched him like on purpose was where he learned his packaging.
Oh yeah, I watched that one.
Yeah, that was his most interesting thing I've ever seen him do.
I've heard him talk about content creation too. He's got some good stuff to say about creating videos.
And there's also, you know, he's like curing blindness and making sure that people have water and, you know, other stuff.
Doing reality TV shows.
Yeah. So
all kinds of nonsense.
Yeah. Well, Brandon, you've been at it a little longer.
Down to attention. He knows how to get people to get eyes.
But you've been at it longer than I have. What's harder than most people think?
consistency. You can make a lot of content, and if it's not consistent, people lose interest.
Okay.
Yeah. So staying consistent in anything is the hardest thing. Like when you commit to a job, you're committing to be there, throughout the week. When you make videos, if you're not committed and consistent, like it's not gonna catch fire.
And was there a moment where, at the very beginning, you start making videos, you're not getting much, and then have you had that moment where you get your validation?
My story was that I took a month where I was making a YouTube video every day in 2012. And I had all kinds of content filmed already, but I was editing it and posting it for a month straight. And one of them was with an interview with the popular YouTubers that I met at Comic-Con. And that one got like 2,000 views. And that was like, hey, people. And even that had like people talking crap on it. But that was like my first success. It felt like this is something yeah.
Well, since you said you've been at it since 2012, have you ever thought of like giving up and just completely stopping?
Well, that's part of the inconsistency. It's kind of like I'll take breaks. I'll be like, but then I'll always come back to it.
Okay.
Yeah, which is important. I mean, that's part of if you just keep coming back to something and kind of building speed, building momentum. Like I think it's more of a life. It's more of a life passion at that point. It's more something I do regardless of the outcome.
Yeah. Well,
So if you have that mindset, like I'm not losing, I'm just here enjoying myself.
Well, and I'll admit I've got the bug. I've gotten started, and even though life is going to throw me some interesting changes, I plan on continuing at some level. It might change completely, like in the sense of what I create, but I plan on still doing it because it's fun. And not only that, but it's a skill set. I am not scared of PowerPoints at all. You throw me a PowerPoint, it's like fucking easy. I just spoke in front of a room of 90 people like a week and a half ago with very little prep. And I had no idea who I was talking to in the room, but because I do this and I do the karaoke and I do other things, it's like, it's easy to talk.
The thing about doing something you enjoy and doing something like this, which is creative and putting your heart into something, is like the results and they're things that you wouldn't even think of. Like, oh, I'm like better in front of people now, or like this person, like you mentioned, Gavin Newsom or something. Someone might reach out to you and they're like, oh, you do this. I'd like to be involved with that. And like, it just, things happen that would not happen if you're just at home gooning.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
No one's going to come to me if I'm gooning.
It doesn't work like that.
Yeah. So there's obviously the expectations that you have when you enter the creative space. Everybody wants a few things. They want fast growth. There's this illusion of overnight success.
Yeah.
Where, I'm going to hit it big one night. I'm just going to make one video that's going to just explode. And I mean, that one's real, but it might also be slow, steady growth. And then I think one of the most dangerous things, and this is true with watching, if you're an amateur golfer that doesn't do it very often, and then you watch the pros, and then you go golfing the next day, you're going to compare yourself to those people and be disappointed. So it's important to not compare yourself to the huge creators.
The big challenge for me in that first year was like wanting support from the people around me. So if you have an expectation that the people around you are going to support you, like you're going to have a resentment because not everybody has time to support you and just comment and care and ask you about what you're doing. So if you can let go of just know, like that's something a lot of content creators know is like you're going to get more support from people who like podcasts than your inner circle or your family or friends.
Yeah. And there is, of course, the obsession over statistics. and how the amount of subscribers is how you have your own self-worth.
Yeah, and watching the numbers and like a watch pot never boils, but like a watch subscriber count, like it doesn't move. I mean, it moves one a day at the most, or 10 a day or whatever, but it's not like it's going to be a steady growth. It's not going to be like an amazing, make you feel good. You're not going to get a dopamine hit from, like,
I'll admit, if a ceiling tile fell down and hit you in the head, I would be making a lot of videos, including that. That would probably work pretty good.
That happen.
Yeah. We'll just sabotage the studio. Just get hurt. Just getting hurt.
Photoshop it in or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, what happened?
Oh my God. And then, there's the obsession of like, I just posted a video. I want results today, and it takes time. And then there's, like you said, you kind of took a break. There was a period where you kind of like the obsession to upload kind of dwindled, and you uploaded a lot less. And did that add stress to you, or like did you keep on thinking, oh, I should do that?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I totally felt bad that I felt that I stopped doing it. And I want to say one thing about that, which is funny, which is like I had a goal of like, oh, I want 10,000 views or 20,000 views. And it's like, oh, I'll feel good once I hit 20,000 views, which isn't true to begin with.
So you're not allowed to feel good until you hit that moment?
Yeah, that doesn't work to begin with. But I posted videos in 2006 and 2012, and those videos have 10,000, 20,000 views now. They're ridiculous, stupid videos. But it finally happened. It just took time. So it's and they might have 50,000 views in 5 years. But over time, people find your content, and what really matters is like being like the real goal, and why it really matters isn't even ego, but it's like, can you support yourself with your financially? That's the goal. The big goal for me wouldn't be like I have 1 million subscribers or 10 million subscribers, or that everybody loves me, or that anything like that. It would just be, can I support myself doing what I enjoy?
Well, and you're reminding me of all the types of people and we read memes of them and all that other stuff of, they go to a restaurant and they have 150,000 followers and they expect a free dinner kind of thing. Like it strokes the ego a lot, and it makes you wonder, would creators still post without the validation of views and subscribers?
Yeah, you're describing it already. It comes with its own challenges. Like if you get something too quick, this is my personal philosophy, which could be like sour grapes or whatever. But if you get something too quick, you're not going to be able to handle it. It's going to go to your head, and it's not going to. I mean, I don't think it goes well. I think you have to earn things in life. You have to sweat and toil and hurt for you to really enjoy it.
Fuck that. Easy. I want it easy.
Well, I think that's down there on the list. Is people want the quick.
Oh yeah, the validation, like the immediate results of I started my channel, I posted a video, and I want 100,000 views within a week, kind of thing. And that's unless if you, I mean, and you can catch lightning in a bottle.
And like we talked about at the beginning, that kind of success comes with haters. So you can't have it both ways. You can't have success and not have haters.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I need the haters. We need you.
But people don't understand that at the beginning either. They think like, oh, everybody's going to love me. Like if I have 100,000 views, that means everybody's going to love me. You're going to get a lot of people who really don't like what you're doing.
Well, hell, it even gets to the point where like a guy with like Mr. Beast has so many people that love him, and then he's gone out and used the money from that to like literally make people be able to see again. And you got the people who hate him that are like, he's doing it for bad reasons. I don't give a fuck why he's doing it. Right. He's doing good. And like they're trying to give his intent is malicious. It's like, okay, Well, how many people have you restored vision to?
Right.
You know, like
that's a great question. Yeah.
How many people? How many?
I
how
like
many?
the question. Like, what have you done at all? You know, when you're talking.
Have you? How many water wells have you drilled in countries in places that don't have water?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, there's a whole debate with that too. Like, there's a lot of, but that's
every successful person has their haters and has their pros and cons, and no one's perfect. But I mean, everyone has haters all across the board, and you can't get around it. That's something to learn in this thing.
So, and then there's all sorts of different things that have happened with YouTube in the last 10 years. The introduction of shorts, it's basically following TikTok's trend of like the short clip that makes it so that the people with attention deficit disorder, which is like everybody now, can like get their 15-second like and then move on and move on and move on.
And things have really changed in my story. Like I got a following on Periscope for a while. That was the live streaming platform. And then I got a big following on TikTok, which is the shorts. And then TikTok, then now Instagram copied TikTok and YouTube copies TikTok. But that was, the original was either Vine or TikTok.
Yeah, Vine's dead.
Of the short. I mean, yeah. So it was like these platforms have just all become one. Now Facebook is YouTube is Facebook and Instagram. It's all one thing.
Yeah, and there's algorithm chasing. Every creator is like, there's some who just stick to what they're good at, what they feel comfortable doing. They don't need the validation of the super duper viral thing. That they just do what they want to do. I love Mark Dice. He's the one news source that I like, and he's the conspiracy theory guy that I love.
Yeah.
And it's not conspiracy theories. There's a lot of fact. It's all fact. Like, he doesn't, suppose things happen. He has receipts, but he doesn't change it. He doesn't do shorts really, unless if he unless if he's enjoying doing it. But he does the same thing from his kitchen table every single day, almost every single day.
Those are the like early adapters. They already have an audience.
Yes,
they don't have to play by the new rules.
He doesn't have to chase now, of course, because he has some controversy with him. YouTube doesn't push his content at all. You have to be told to follow him, kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, a creator like that could grow if they probably made shorts and brought more people into what they're doing.
And advertising and played the game the way that everybody, people like us we're new, so we kind of have to chase a little bit. We have to figure out how the tide is turning and go with it.
But it goes back to what I said, where he's kind of happy where he's at, and he's just like, I do what I make a living at what I do, and I don't have to do anything else. And they plateau.
And exactly, and he's comfortable. He's got his validation, or he's got his value pulled from it, and he's able to live the life he wants to live, I hope.
Someone like him might be like, this is as far as I can go. I don't know what side of anything he's on or what he does, but somebody might be like, there's only so much audience for what I do.
There is that too. Yeah. Some people don't want to hear that. They want to just do what the government says and be a sheep. So
meanwhile, there's YouTube creators who are making billions of dollars and they're happy as pie, and they're 14 years old.
Yeah, I know. Making AI stuff, so they don't even have to do any of the real work.
There's people out there not even putting their faces into videos. They just type things into an AI. They say, AI, make a script for me, put a voice on it, make a video for it, and they're millionaires.
Well, and actually, that brings up the next point is farming views versus building an actual connection with your audience. Because if that kid that's 14 years old that's just farming views goes away, people might miss it for a minute, but they're not going to think, how's that AI kid doing?
Yeah,
there's no connection there.
There's such thing as disposable content, which is kind of going to come and go and not really be attached to any name, or it's just going to be something that exists, and it can even go viral, but it doesn't have a people don't even know where it came from.
Where it has no source really. And you know what? If he goes to Comic-Con to set up a little table to meet people. Yeah. No one knows who he is,
and
which is desirable to some and not to others.
Yeah.
I love the idea of getting big enough where I can go to these cool events and talk to other creators, and they would know who I am, and I would know who they are, and then we could start fake rivalries where we hate each other, but actually talk dog friendly outside of the place, like how Tekken. No, Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat hate each other, but there's massive respect on both sides, but they can't ever show it.
That's funny. Yeah, people love to just have something to debate about.
Yeah, it's a fun hatred.
Yeah, but something like that, which is disposable, is because anybody could do it. It doesn't really, you don't really get credit for it. If anybody can do it, it's like I said, it doesn't. There's no value to it.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, people are kind of growing immune to the AI slop. It was cool at first, just like 3D movies, like every movie was 3D, and then that kind of died. But back to short form, do you think it's helping or ruining the whole creator atmosphere, the universe, we'll say?
The reels?
Yeah, the reels, or there's people like us who are making long form content,
right,
and then there's people who are making 15 to 30 seconds. What do you?
I think that opinion? the benefits. I'm trying to think of what's the opposite of benefits. The damages outweigh the benefits, and the damages are that people can't watch anything for more than 10 seconds. That's a problem for humanity.
Yeah, our attention spans have been racked by all this stuff.
Like, you're literally doing damage to your brain isn't the same as it used to be. Having actual focus on something is something to value.
Yeah.
And to sit there and extend your focus is important.
Well,
and to absorb information, I mean, you have to sit there and watch it for a period and then process it. And when you're scrolling, this is just me coming up with this now, but if you're scrolling one after the other, you don't have time to process what you even watched.
Yeah. So do you think people still care about depth? There's the short
becoming more and more shallow as a whole. But my algorithms have good self-help content on them, and I do learn stuff just by having valuable lessons in my content, but it kind of has to do with the depth of the material in general.
Well, and I think one of the, a very interesting question is, would you rather have loyal viewers or viral clips? I know what I'd prefer.
Yeah, I would say the value is loyal viewers, because I have videos that have million views. I have one silly one with a friend of mine, and who doesn't like his name on here, and and I have another one where I went to the Heart Attack Grill and I did just kind of a tour of it, which was funny, but it didn't mean that I had 10,000 subscribers after that. It was just they kind of came and went. And
oh yeah,
they wanted to watch that one thing,
and then they were gone.
And this would have required money and time, but if I had made more content like that, I probably could have brought those viewers in to continue to watch, but I didn't want to make that same content over and over again.
Oh, so you're not just chasing clout, huh? You're trying to be a genuine human being.
Yeah, that's where I've really gone wrong in my content
You
creation.
need to be as phony as you can be.
As I was I want to be authentic, and I want to actually teach people things, so I'm going to have these shows where I talk about deep topics, and that's where I totally went wrong, because that's not what the people wanted.
Well, and what people don't see for all creators, okay, yes, there are some people who pay people, and I mean, seriously, there's services in the Philippines where I could take this footage, send it to them, and they'll edit everything.
Sure.
And
I think they do that on Fiverr too.
Yeah, Fiverr. But you have to. There's the behind the scenes things.
AI will do it too.
Yeah, where you have to create. You have to record when you're not motivated. You could have serious shit going on in your family, or in your personal life, business, whatever, you name it. And you kind of still have to keep going. And that's hard sometimes. Right? Yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know something about that.
Yeah. And then, of course, I mentioned editing and how people oftentimes contract that out. But when you're starting out, you can't afford to just especially if the first video you make, gets 2 views and it's your mom and your creepy uncle. Mm-hmm. What's the point of paying somebody $80 to $300 to edit a video? $300. Yeah, I mean, editing costs a lot of money. It's time intensive.
One strategy, which I haven't implemented yet, but it would be like when you're in the editing mode and you're feeling good and on top and motivated, edit a bunch of content and store it up.
Yeah, I've done a little bit of that.
Yeah. What I've done is a lot of filming, so I have a lot of stuff filmed, and all I have to do is edit it down. So.
Oh, well, that's the thing is editing can create more burnout than creating.
Right.
Editing takes forever. You got to watch the same thing over and over again, cut it, slice. I mean, there's the old stories. Before we had digital, I mean, you'd have these guys, they would be locked in dark rooms with film. They call it the cutting room floor for a reason, because they'd just be cutting literal film and splicing things together.
Yeah.
And it's thankless work. Sure. And there's but it's incredibly valuable. In fact, the first Star Wars movie was an awful train wreck, and it was saved in the editing room because George Lucas would have all this techno babble and just too much lore dumping and all this other stuff. Yeah. And his wife at the time, she won an Oscar for her edit because he created this mess of a film, but from his shoots, but she was able to save it in the edit and create. I mean, it's like
the post production. They did a lot of special effects afterwards, and also cutting out all the treacle and
pacing. Just pacing the thing right. And then...
Which made it better because the more you cut something, the better you can make it.
Yes.
Because it's faster paced.
And it's even worse nowadays. I mean, there's movies like 12 Angry Men that has 3 camera angle shifts the whole movie. And it's widely regarded as a fantastic film. But nowadays, the thing before YouTube and modern stuff in the last 30 years, we went from single camera angles, catching most of the action, to now there's a camera jump every 3 to 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Camera jumping, and it's messed with our attention span.
Yeah, no, you could make a brilliant movie right now, but people wouldn't even be able to process it anymore.
Well, and when
I was a teenager, I watched 12 Angry Men, and it was a good movie.
Yeah, it's a fantastic film. Yeah, but seriously, the camera just doesn't move. Yeah. It stays in the same room the entire time. You're watching
people acting and, engaging with each other, and
in many ways, I mean, there's some people who think it's the perfect film, because it's riveting and it's not complicated, and you get involved in the story and everything, but it doesn't need camera jumps. It doesn't need this. It eliminated all the unnecessary stuff.
It's kind of surprising to me that people like podcasts because they're long form. But I think what people do generally is they just put it on in the background.
There is a lot of that.
They're not necessarily sitting there listening to the whole thing.
Well, I've talked to a couple people who their commute to college is 2-3 hours.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah. It's a good thing to drive, listen while you drive, because you can drive and listen to something.
Yeah, coffee and playlists.
Yeah.
And then, the other behind the scenes thing is just balancing your authenticity and your with your performance. Some of the advice that I've seen on YouTube for how to improve your podcast is to exaggerate who you are and be wacky, or wear loud crazy clothing, or
I'm gonna get a chicken costume. People are gonna be more entertained.
And I'll admit, I've got a lot of different hats. I've got cowboy hats, I've got a pirate hat, I've got the racist Asian hat, I've got ton of hats, and I'm kind of like, no, this is just,
You know about the geckos, the guys who just dress up as geckos and do podcasts?
I've seen. Well, I know
the
frog.
There's a frog.
I know the frog guy, and people call
Is
in.
that the angry frog? Are you
Yeah,
talking about the
yeah.
angry frog? He was based on like a therapy gecko who like.
Yeah,
Yeah. It was
I
more
like
chill.
the clips I have seen of him. I'm not gonna seek him out or anything, but I mean
that could be us. We could dress
Yeah.
up and.
And people will call him, and like he's the therapy guy, the therapy frog, and people will call with some. There's definitely some genuine things, and then there's a lot of the like, hey, I'm going to call this wacky guy and tell him a wacky story, and see what he says, and that also creates fantastic. Honestly, that's the same thing as Coast to Coast with George Norrie and Art Bell and all the AM radio station.
Yeah.
You ever listen to the AM stations at night when you're driving?
I remember this one. Yeah, these guys. Yeah, they go all over the map with their. Yeah. I know
Yeah,
what you're talking about.
if you're calling from East Coast, call from this. But people would call in with like legit sounding alien stories, and then the next guy would call in where he shot Bigfoot with a paintball gun, kind of thing.
Yeah. So the question is, how far do you want to go? How far from yourself do you want to go?
Yeah. Do you watch your old stuff and like cringe at all?
No, I don't have that.
So you don't watch them at all, huh?
No. I would watch. Oh yeah, well there's one where I'm extremely fucked up in Mardi Gras, but I don't have shames.
Oh, okay.
I don't have shame in that department necessarily.
And then of course there's what everyone says the first many times they hear their own voice.
Right. You have to get used to that.
Do you hate your own voice?
You have to get used to how horrible your voice sounds.
Yeah. And then, of course...
And because it's my perception of my own voice, it's not like you go around and be like, oh, I hate his voice. It's just, you hate your own voice.
Yeah.
You hate your own voice.
I don't sound like that.
You hate your own voice more than anyone else.
Heck, I look at myself on camera, like on security footage, and I'm like, oh, fuck, I look like that? Is that how I walk?
Yeah, no, I have... That's something to get over. I call it body dysmorphia, but it's just a mental condition where people look at themselves and judge themselves more harshly than is accurate. Like I would look at every other person in the world and not judge them as harshly as I would judge myself. So if you can make that switch in your head, then you're.
So obviously everybody who does this, anybody who does anything, any skill, any talent, the first time you do it is usually the worst attempt. Very few people start off incredibly good and never improve because they don't need to. There's a lot of bad first videos, and a lot of creators go through their old library and remove those old ones. And we may down the road too. We might have our show on a space station and it looks really cool, and we're like, I don't like the sound that we have. I like the space station sound. The
reason I would like to keep them up is to show the progress.
Yeah,
I think it's the history of. I mean, I've definitely done that on various platforms where I'll erase old pictures, but I mean, for the purpose of recording history, it's kind of cool to keep them up.
Yeah, so deleting your uploads. I've deleted a few uploads, mostly because I've accidentally uploaded the wrong file or something along those lines. But yeah, I have no intention of really deleting.
One thing about the short form is that when you're creating so much, like when I was on TikTok creating thousands of videos, it's like you can't keep either. They're not all winners. You can't keep them all. So that's kind of the same thing with like reels. Like if you have a reel that didn't perform well, you might want to cut it and repost it for more views, or just get it out of there because it's in the way of finding your other good videos.
Okay. What's the most draining part?
What's the most draining part of content creation for me?
What's the hardest part?
It's always the perfectionism for me.
Okay.
Perfectionism. Because that will prevent you from even, getting into the editing room or anything. Is like, oh, everything has to be perfect, or judging yourself too harshly or stuff like that.
So for me, it's the edit. The edit is, oh my God. It's
time intensive, energy.
Well, if you have a 30-minute video, the minimum time it's going to take to edit it, even if it's just a simple podcast, is about 45 minutes to an hour, because you have to watch most of it, and you have to, create your title sequence, and you got to create this, and there's so many different little things that you got to like put in there. You got your music slide, you got your this, and you got and
effects.
And if I was to say this graph right here is going to tell you all about this,
effect.
I got to make sure to find where I put my hand up and where I'm calling to that moment. And I don't know exactly when I'm recording it. I'm not taking a note like, at minute 36 I wrote. I mentioned this one thing.
The better you want to make it, the more time it takes.
Oh God, yeah. And the graphics, the effects, and for statistics, if I want to put text above my head, all that stuff, I have to. The thing that might take the most time is just finding it in the video, of marking exactly where I said that thing that I want to put a moment on.
Well, because it takes so much energy and effort and mental energy, like you have to really love doing it.
You kind of have to enjoy it.
Yeah, because like at some point you could power through for a while, but if you don't enjoy it, you're just not going to do it.
So as a creator, somebody who has created for some time and has taken it more seriously lately, do you feel more insecure or more secure with, or more confident in your life about it and other things?
The one area where I feel more confident is that in the past, this turned into like an interview of me. In the past, I would question my ability and question how I come across and stuff like that, but that has left, and I'm just like, whatever I do is fine now. Like we're just talking into a camera, and people probably won't even find it. And if they do, good for them. But I don't criticize myself as much as I did in the past. So you asked if it's easier, and like I said, perfectionism's the worst thing I faced and the thing that would always take me out. So when you're actually over that in some way, it gets easier because now I'm just authentically sharing.
Well, that, and you can review yourself on camera and see, if you fidget too much, which you do.
I don't particularly think I've gotten better at it, or that I look any
fidget
better.
So much, you're always hitting the fucking.
I don't think I've gotten better at it, or that I look any better, or that I'm doing it any better. But I'm less critical of myself, and that works.
That helps. That's confidence.
That could get me somewhere.
Being less critical of yourself is a form of confidence.
Yeah.
That's part of the wheel of confidence.
Yeah.
So the answer is yes. That was a long yes. So apparently, podcasts are still growing.
They are. They're big time.
And of course, if you look at it, some people, and there's two ways of interpreting the stat. There's 5 million podcasts out there. It's an oversaturated market. Okay, well, 5,000 books were published on Tuesday, and 5,000 to 10,000 books are going to be published on Tuesday again, and there's constantly more to be made. So, there's 10 bazillion books that have ever been written. So, like, it might be an undersaturated market, podcasts. So you don't know. It's replaced radio for many people, and that used to be the norm for 50 years. People listen to the radio every day. Little Orphan Annie, Gunsmoke, The Lone Ranger, all sorts of things. It's just moved in to that storytelling thing that people crave.
Steven and I were talking about like this open door theory last night about like just doing things, creating things. Basically, podcasting is an opportunity. It's an opportunity to get in front of people and say whatever the hell you want to say and do whatever the hell you want to do. All of video content creation, all of podcasting is an opportunity. You can take it or not take it. I mean,
Well,
but if you don't take it, it's not gonna do anything ever.
Exactly, and it's real conversations, and sometimes just the fact that with my other channel with Tawny, I research topics that are philosophically inclined, and I've gotten better at talking about them because I talk to them with Tawny. Mm-hmm. I research these things,
right?
And I'm trying to stay topical, but I'm not talking about the news, but I'm talking about the philosophical, existential state of being that we all experience, and it's made me more relatable. And it's what's great about podcasts is it's basically a real conversation. It's just
you're learning.
I prepared a little bit before the conversation.
Yeah.
I put a little bit of effort in prior to going up and talking to somebody before, and people appreciate that level of preparedness. We're not just talking about nothing. We do have it's best. Maybe it's best. I don't know. I don't know what's best. We have guardrails, or we stay in a lane. Now we go, we go on tangents. I can't help but go on tangents. That's just the nature of me. I've never been able to stay completely focused. I'm one of you people. ADHD, I doom scroll and all that other stuff. And people like the less scripted version of content. Obviously, they like scripted content. I like scripted content, but this is a form of reality TV.
Yeah.
And you mentioned it already. Background listening culture.
Right.
It's just background noise.
Fall asleep too.
I am background noise, everybody.
You can fall asleep to this. This is something good to put on and just fall asleep to.
Yeah, and people crave a level of authenticity. And the AI slop will come and go. AI will get better, and it's here. It's here to stay. I don't think it's going to go the way of Pogs.
You familiar with Howard Stern?
Of course, yeah.
Eric the actor? You don't know Eric the actor?
I didn't watch Howard Stern much.
He was a little person, so the real word was Eric the M word. But
I know Beetlejuice.
Yeah, but I fall asleep to them every night.
Really?
Just them arguing with each other.
It's funny when I have
either them or like Alan Watts or something, but a lot of Howard Stern.
What's funny is when I have a hard time sleeping, I go onto YouTube and I listen to Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, or 3.
Just like the music to it or something?
No, the codex, the action,
there's scenes and everything.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, the movie, the game itself was filled with a whole storyline and lore, and I've listened to it so many times that I could get 5 minutes in and I'm out.
Yeah.
Out.
Are you someone who constantly is like listening to things, like whether you're driving or like at home, you turn the TV on and kind of always have something on in the background?
Usually, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm absorbing.
A lot of people, I mean, I would say most people are.
I'm absorbing all day. And there's times where I'm grateful for not absorbing. It's time to go around trees and hang out or go snorkeling. I don't bring headphones when I go snorkeling.
Right.
I'm there to listen to the waves and look at
Isn't
fish.
it jarring? You ever feel jarred when you go from like listening to stuff all day to like dead silence?
The first 5 minutes, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, there was a meditative moment I had my last class of the semester. I had finished my exam, which I bombed, but I'd already passed the class, basically. I'd had enough points that I was going to pass the class. The final exam was just a formality. And I was so burnt out that I tried to study for it. I sat down, I started writing, doing it, and I'm like, no, I passed. I'm over it. So I finished it in like 15, 20 minutes. We weren't allowed to leave the room until minute 30. And there was just 10 minutes. I slid the paper in front of me, and I can't look at my phone because that would be cheating, even though I'm not touching the paper or anything.
Yeah.
And I just literally raw dogged that last 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny how the term of not looking at your phone and listening to music during something is called raw dogging now, instead of just sitting quietly.
Yeah.
Like people, this man flew for 4.5 hours across the country and raw dogged it.
Yeah.
No, it used to be called sitting still, doing nothing.
Yeah.
Or just sitting quietly, but now it's called raw dogging. But that 10 minutes, after about 3 minutes of my mind racing, wanting to look at my phone or whatever, it just turned into a moment of silent meditation where I was like, okay, the world is not, I don't need to have the world spinning around. It was calming. It was a very good moment for my mantra of, okay, this is my last 10 minutes of school for 3 months. Let's embrace this moment and check out. Like, let's go back to my regular life of podcasting and the other shit I have to do, like doing laundry finally and whatever. And it was beautiful.
I think it can feel good. I think that's why people take walks in parks and sit silently. Like, I think it can feel really good to not always be staring at something.
Or connected, just connected. Just, yes, there's moments where you've been out, and there was times in my adventures where I was away from civilization, nobody within miles of me, and I turned on AM radio just to feel connected to the rest of the world, and it was nice because the rest of like a 3-week period was me not being connected to everybody. So we need to feel the connection, or else you'll go mad from isolation.
Yeah.
And then there's times where it's good to be disconnected. So
I definitely have those moments in the car, even from like the radio and the music, where like you want to hear like talk radio. You want to hear somebody communicating.
Yeah. And so
you find some real trash on.
Now there's podcasts everywhere. I mean, it used to just be radio shows, but now you could download 7 podcasts for your long flight and listen to them as you like drift in and out of consciousness on a long flight.
Do you like any podcasts yourself?
No, I don't listen. I don't listen to podcasts really. I mean, maybe the guy that I was watching when you walked into the office today, he might qualify as a podcast. He's just a content creator, staring at a camera, talking about how much he hates women and how awful they are and how men are weak. That's his bit.
Did you ever listen to Joe Rogan in full?
No. I've seen the clips.
Yeah.
Of course, there's always the clips that get pushed the most are when he like tells a guest that they're full of shit, because there's a lot of that. I don't like Neil deGrasse Tyson. I'm not a fan. I think he's just a guy that's been on television and loves the sound of his own voice.
He's funny. He goes on a lot of tangents.
That, and
He's got an opinion about everything.
Everything. Oh my God.
So
and
funny.
somehow like, society's at fault for this or that, and blah, 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 blah. Dude, you're an astrophysicist. You don't have to comment on the politics of today. You don't have to do that. Bill Nye did the same fucking shit. Follow the science. I am the science kind of thing. Like, no, and science is entirely built on questioning things. So a proper scientist will go, the evidence points to this, but there still never is a definitive answer. Like, for anything, everything gets thrown out the window. And I could go on a tangent about this, about nothing is settled. And that's the beautiful thing about science, is absolutely nothing is settled.
I tend to agree with you on that point. But it seems like scientifically people want to say, "Oh, this is settled," but I think by the nature of science, you're bringing up that it never should really be.
I think the phrase should be largely agreed upon.
Right.
This is largely agreed upon.
I like that.
That this thing is the reality of it.
I think it's important.
But it should always have the but with the explanation of, he could be wrong.
Yeah, no, and
he could be wrong.
If you attach that to a podcaster or Neil deGrasse Tyson. Basically, he's coming in as the expert, and he's saying, "I know everything, and I know, not just him, but lots of people. Anybody who says I'm the expert, they probably you could probably poke holes in anything anybody's saying.
Anybody, any one of them. And so you asked me what podcasts I listen to, and not a lot. I know I do.
Mm-hmm.
I listen to Mr. Sundays. They talk about movies.
Okay.
And they have Cabinet of Garbage, I think it's called, and I watch a lot of them because they talk about all sorts of movies, and and they have trivia at the end. It's
fun,
which is a good hook, honestly. After we get like a proper formula of things to talk about, there should be a game at the end, or trivia, or something like that.
Yeah, let's get into our game now. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. But like, what makes a podcast worthy of your listening? What do you listen for?
These people that I've listened to over all these years, Howard Stern and radio personalities, or even this channel I used to watch called Collider, with John Campea and Harlow. What was his name? Jack Harlinoff or something. I think his name was Harlinoff, something like that. But anyways, I was happy when it went off the air because I was so obsessed with it. I had to catch it every day.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like I had to get my entertainment news and have it in the background all the time. And I was happy when it. I mean, I was sad. It took me a while to get over it, but once it wasn't a mainstay of my life that I have to listen every single day to Stern or to Collider or anything, it actually, I was able to have a life because these, for me, they can get addictive, like having to listen every single day.
It became part of your daily routine where you were not free.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I feel about sports.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many people that their entire personality is built around loving a sport.
Yeah, and even if you love the sport and you're like a week behind, people can be like, "Oh, what? You're not a fan?" Like, yeah. Like, you'd have to stay pretty current to, really
stay current.
Yeah,
and not only that, but if there's a big game, you're not allowed to do anything else with your fucking life. Like, if your team's in the if the Super Bowl, you make it to the Super Bowl, you're not allowed to go to the park. You're not allowed to do, you have to be glued to the television, because it's your identity. And that's too much.
But your question to me was, it's these people that, it feels like having friends. Now I have actual friends.
Oh, okay.
But when I was growing up, it was like having a friend on the radio at 2 a.m, when Stern came on 3 a.m. It's like no one's around. Like I want to be with my friends.
There was a
very entertaining friend.
There was a radio show that I used to love, back in 98 Rock from Baltimore, and the signal would come all the way to DC, and it was a little fuzzy, because it was far, but I could hear it, and something in Lopez in the morning. And most weeks, 2 times a week, Larry the Cable Guy would call in. I swear, Larry the Cable Guy had this thing where he would call in to 10 different radio stations that
he's promoting his tour or something.
The tour, or just doing his bit,
yeah.
To grow, and that was his, and he was a mainstay of the show. And later on, I just kind of fell off. I couldn't just listen to radio every day, and then I heard Lopez died, and that was sad. But it's kind of like, it was I'm not going to call it an obsession, but it was, if I could fit it in, I would take a radio into school, because it was from 7 to 9 in the morning, and I would take a radio into class, have the wire going through my coat, and I'd listen, I'd hold my head
listen to
up.
Lopez, or
I'd listen to them in the morning, and
did they do music too, or just talk?
They would just talk for 2 hours, and then then the rock would come on later, and they're who I heard, that I was listening to them on 9/11 kind of thing, that's where I was when I first heard a plane had hit the tower.
Yeah. It's so funny too, because
9/11's funny.
9/11. I was listening to Stern.
It's too soon, man. Too soon.
I was literally listening to Stern for it, but that every market has Lopez and then some other clown. And so everyone has their own experiences with their
morning DJs.
It used to be morning radio DJs. Now it's podcasters.
But. Yeah, and they're still there. Like, honestly, if someone offered me a good gig at a radio station, where I could, 5 days a week, be there at 4 a.m. to prep for the day and do the radio spiel, I'd love that. I'd be on a couple billboards.
Yeah.
You go to a couple car dealerships, a couple times a year. You hang out at bars, and everyone, sometimes people will buy you a drink.
I know a guy who's a DJ in like South Dakota. He's got a gig in South Dakota.
Yeah, it's sweet. It's a cool place to park yourself. And, everyone else is doing all the work. You and me here, we're having to do everything. Mm-hmm. Well, if we had a radio station, I don't have to call advertisers. They do. The work is being done by everybody else. It's just
You're the talent.
I'm the talent.
We're not the talent here. We're doing everything.
We're the producers. We're the everything. So what's the future of YouTube?
I think I wouldn't have said this 10 years ago, but I think it's just going to get more and more popular and more ingrained in people's lives, and they're going to have more and more features, and it's going to be all you hear about. I think YouTube's it just has that name recognition. I don't think anybody's really going to be any big competitor to it unless they really embrace AI and come up with something crazy. But I think YouTube is just going to stay on the cutting edge and really just always exist.
Yeah. At this point. And
outlive all of us.
And it's funny how it started off as a dating site. You know that, right?
I heard you say that, and I looked into that. That was an interesting one.
Yeah, it's a guy, he's at the zoo, and he's like, hey, I'm Alan.
Yeah.
It's a cloudy day.
Yeah.
Just hanging out. And, it was basically in the 80s, there was, in early 90s, there was a program where you could order a VHS tape.
Yeah.
Of different prospects and watch that and then call, I guess, and go, hey, I want to talk to Alan.
Yeah. Well, the same is true with Facebook. I mean, everything's
everything. Yeah, everything. The dating thing. Yeah.
But YouTube, it just started out as there's 5 videos on here. There's 5 different. There's 5 people on there, and now it's everybody.
Yeah.
Learn to
do it. The original intent is far gone. Unless if any ladies, I have a full head of hair. DM me, I guess. Are you afraid of oversaturation on YouTube? Just too many creators making too many things and not enough viewers or anything like that?
I think you have to find your way around it because everybody has an audience. Anybody and everybody can have an audience, but you have to find them. You have to find your people. And the question is, how are you going to find them?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's I don't know how many billion people watch YouTube a day. It's a lot. Obviously there's the competition in TikTok and a few other things, but and originality is hard. It's always been being original. But do you need to be original? It kind of up in the air, just like science. No one really knows. There's no way to prove it. And bringing your personality is kind of an advantage to YouTube because a lot of people they'll watch. I'll watch the AI slop a few times, but I'm not coming back. In fact, there's so many right now where they talk about history, and then you realize that they had AI write the whole thing, and
nowadays I like guys like Alan Watts, Ram Dass, philosophers and stuff. And I won't even know if it's them or AI talking because they'll reduplicate the video in another person's voice.
Yes.
It's really weird. It's a really weird thing. It's because I just have to say, oh, AI sounds right. This might be AI, but it still sounds right.
Well, for a while,
I still like it.
When I was first experimenting with this, I didn't like the sound of my own voice, and I would alter my voice.
And
I would also remove. Using the editing software, all the ums and pauses and this and that. And it sounded so artificial that I stopped wanting to do that.
Does it sound better now?
Well, if I had a lot of pauses and ums today, it was way worse when we first started this whole endeavor.
It's the big thing to work on. I have a communications teacher I still follow on Instagram. She's a very beautiful lady.
Beauty. How close do you follow her? Do you slide into her DMs? I'm sure she gets a lot of that. Oh God, being a man creator is so much. I don't have to worry about creeps.
But what her advice is, cut the ahs and ums. That's the big one. That's hard. The biggest communication thing you can ever do.
It's so hard.
It's the only thing they teach at Toastmasters. And the other one is speak lower. Speak lower. People like they slower and lower, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah.
And obviously, with business in general, and it's the same with YouTube, find your niche. You know, and I don't know if we've discovered our niche. We're just two guys talking about stuff. And, like, you know, to me and Tawny, kind of, we're stumbling around finding our niche. It's turning into men versus women almost, you know, except she's on the men's side, so it's just two people picking on, you know. But that seems to be getting us, you know, our most traction in a way. But there's some history in there. And
I think I had a long conversation with AI one night about this, but basically it's called being a personality creator. So yes. People are here. People would be here because they like you, not necessarily anything specific you're going to be talking about. It's just like they tune in for, and maybe a general theme, like, you know, they know that you're into politics or dating or whatever.
Okay.
Life and philosophy, whatever the case may be. They know you're not going to, you know, go way off the track, but they like your personality. So I guess my goal is to be a personality creator.
Okay. Yeah. I'm kind of there too.
Otherwise, you have to be very niche, and you can't really move around too much.
And talk only about history, and be a complete expert in the history of these things. And you know what? I watch on YouTube. I watch a bunch of history. I watch so much of it, and I'm intimidated by those people. I don't want to do it myself because, I mean, they read books and stuff.
And I know you take this seriously and you want to be successful, so you might at some point pick a niche and be like, this is what I do to make money or, you know, to get viewers. But
well, down the road, I wouldn't mind actually just, you know, helping other creators somehow. But there's too many of those too. In fact, one of the pitfall, I mean, I see so many people, they have like how to get 100,000 views in 10 days.
Yeah, I think this is the closest we'll do to that, is just talk about our experience.
Exactly.
With creation.
I have no interest in doing,
because I couldn't tell you what to do to be successful.
No.
Listen to those other people, and they probably don't even know what they're talking about, but just listen to them and maybe you'll find one good thing you like.
Well, that, and there's people who like, they don't, it doesn't seem like they have their own content to create outside of telling people how to create content.
Yeah.
And I would hate doing that all day. It would feel so inauthentic because, if nothing else, YouTube is changing every day.
That's number one. And number two is different stuff is going to work for different people.
Yeah.
Like, these solid advice isn't always going to work. Somebody just might not resonate with, you know, the advice that, you know.
I'm hardly trustworthy with talking about random shit at a very shallow level. Well, maybe I am. I don't know. I'm well rounded, read. Like, I've got books behind me. I'm able to reach a book right now. I have one. This is how you read them, right? Yeah.
I think Stephen may have read these books.
Yeah,
it's possible.
Actually,
I don't know for sure, but he kind of seems like he might have read at least 2 or 3 of those.
A couple of them I have, actually.
Or are you like me, where you read like the first chapter or something?
Well, actually, there's no shame in not reading an entire book.
Mm-hmm.
Some books are written where
That's good advice right there. That's advice to listen to.
There are some books that literally you have the entire everything that you need from it within the first couple hundred pages or a couple page. Like, there's a great book I read years ago called The Peter Principle, and it's not talked about much anymore, but it's real. This is a real thing, and it's always been there since any level of bureaucracy or systems have been in place with people. And the Peter Principle is basically, everyone gets promoted to their level of incompetence. So you can be the best fry cook at a burger joint, and then they promote you to grill. You're fantastic. You're promoted to assistant manager. You're pretty good. You're promoted to the manager. You're okay. And then you get promoted one more time to like a regional manager, and now you're barely holding on. You've reached your level of incompetence. And once you understand that, when you go, like, there's a lot of managers at Chili's and Applebee's that's the highest they're going to get in life. Their level of competence has gotten them there, and that's it. They've hit the zenith. And if you understand that principle, when you go around and you interact with people, you're going to see that. Like, this person's trajectory has stopped.
Right.
And they're not that good at their job.
Yeah.
But, you know, you got to learn how to work with it. And the book itself, where I started talking about it, is that the first 20 pages of this 150-page book bring it up.
Right.
Have examples.
Yeah.
And then he repeats it over and over.
Sure.
He has to repackage this. Because I explained the entire book just now.
That was the whole book.
That was the whole book.
Yeah.
And he had to stretch it to 150 pages. So
he didn't have to, but he felt some need to.
You can't just sell a pamphlet. So you don't have to read the entire book to understand its principles.
Let me say it in a different way.
Exactly. It literally was that. Chapter 2 had like one extra example, and I got chapter 4 of like 8, and it was like, okay, I've read the same thing 4 times now. I'm good. So you don't need to finish every book you read. You know, the fact you picked it up, there's some level of knowledge that you've acquired. And then, you know, there's surviving long term. Like I love the LA Beast. Skippy 62 Abel.
I know exactly who you're talking
about. Oh yeah, the LA Beast. The man who has not changed one bit except for his life. And we get a little bit of you know, he's gone from his studio apartment eating 10-year-old bag of chips and drinking 30-year-old Pepsi to, you know, a house with his kid and his wife. And, you know, he's living a good life from YouTube and his challenges. And there's a point where he's in his studio, and then he's like shooting in his parents' garage. And, you know, we've gotten to see him grow as a person doing the same thing. And I love the guy. I see an upload of his, and if I can't watch it, I know I'm going to in the next day or two when I finally can focus.
So you're saying he has staying power?
Oh my God, yeah, I love the guy.
Yeah,
because
he kind of sticks to the same thing.
Yeah.
And Is he up the ante? Is he doing something crazy?
I mean, how could you up the ante from drinking 20,000 calories of olive oil? I mean, or eating a can of 105-year-old Jiffy Pop or Jolly Time popcorn, or but I watch every time. I'm going to watch every episode. That I'm not going to go back through his entire library, which I think I probably have, because his uploads are like sporadic. He's not a every week creator. He'd be dead, for one. If you don't know who I'm talking about, you should definitely go to Skippy 62 Abel, the LA Beast. He has the greatest food challenges I've ever seen, and it's not like he's trying to eat like a 72-ounce tomahawk steak every day. It's one of the earliest bottles of Coca-Cola that might still have cocaine in it. Right. He'll buy it off of eBay from some random collector, and he'll drink it right for us. And he'll go through the tests to make sure it won't kill him. He's gotten better about that. I don't think his early stuff he did any of that. But yeah, he's fantastic. I love the creator. And it's his personality. You know, I feel warm and fuzzies when I watch him.
Yeah. And
he cheers me up. So, yes, there are some people who are going to survive long term,
and some people. I think consistency has a lot to do with it. But Because a lot of people just fall off and they stop making content.
Well, that or they run out of stuff.
Right. That's
You know,
consistency. If
yeah.
you run out of stuff to say.
I like one of my favorites that I listen to on a regular basis. Not every single thing, but he talks about villains. You know, the evil eye, and I watch, I'd say, half of his videos.
Yeah.
Because there's some bad guys from anime that I don't know anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I'm like, but he's got a great voice, great production, and he just talks about the bad guys.
But he did not run out of stuff, is what you're
saying? Not yet.
Yeah.
You know, but eventually,
something like that kind of could have a shelf life.
It could have a shelf life. It's not River Monsters where there's like 40 fish to catch, and then eventually there's not enough cat. There's always going to be new bad guys, but if he's already covered the best ones, the Terminator, the bad guy from RoboCop, you know, all the stuff I care about, he's already covered so many of the things that I care about. Like, how many more can he cover? Mm-hmm. And yeah, he'll hit a couple that I'll still care about, you know, but at some point he's going to be diluted. And he's got a niche, but he might have to expand to something else, like talk about the good guys,
right?
You know, but you know, and I hope he's got staying power. I like the guy. I wish him all the success in the world.
I think there's a Star Wars podcaster I like, Thor Skywalker, I think his name.
Okay,
but I like Star Wars talk.
Okay.
And there's something that, because they continue to make new Star Wars, it's always something to talk about.
Yeah. And there's ways to reframe it. You could even kind of cover the same stuff, but talk about the different, you know, a different philosophical approach. There's so much to pull from. And then there's the stuff that's not canon anymore. Star Wars, there's enough to talk about forever. And I think the Vile Eye also has enough stuff to talk about forever.
The what?
The guy I was talking about, the bat,
villains?
you know, talking about the villains.
Yeah, that sounds cool. I'd watch. I mean, basically, movies are always coming out. You just pick villains. And,
yeah, exactly. And he's got a great thing. After his probably the first 3 videos he made, he started getting traction, and people would comment, you know, oh, do Darth Vader, do this, do that, you know, and like the comments help a lot.
Yeah, with the Collider, they always had the entertainment news coming in every day. You'd be surprised. I mean, that's how I know that there's entertainment news coming every day, because they always had new news every day.
Yeah.
And then Stern just, you know, he talks about what's going on in the people in the studio's lives and the Whack Pack, and brings in guests and talks about the news. So he covers everything.
Yeah, crazy guests.
And he's kind of the guy I look up to, but basically talks about whatever he wants, and it's a different show every day.
Yeah, but it's easier to produce a show every day if you're not managing. He doesn't have to call the crazy one-legged porn star.
His show evolved over time. He started basically, you know, in some small market, you know, by himself, having to do it all himself.
Washington, D.C.
He was the DJ, and you know.
Yeah, he built himself up, and you know, the shock jock thing, like he ruled that.
But the more you build, the more you can accomplish. So you get
and then he built
an actual producer.
He had a team, and the producer, and the marketing, and the
and then you build the name, and you can have actual guests. And,
yeah.
We could have guests now, but you can have guests who actually, you know, popular guests.
So, yeah, we only know losers. So, biggest lesson so far, what would you say of, how about, let's break it into 2. Biggest lesson of your entire, you've been doing this a lot longer than I have. What have you learned?
In creating content?
Yeah.
My big lesson, I probably already touched on it, but I want to come across authentically and do what I love, because I don't want to do it for someone else.
Okay.
So that's important to me, that I'm enjoying myself. But in the past, I would make things that I would be trying to get eyes or whatever.
You're chasing.
That's the advice. That's Mr. Beast's advice, is, hey, go make something that people have never seen, that you're going to ensure that people watch. But I mean, like, it's not necessarily enjoyable how I want to be spending my life.
So, okay, if we want to do that, I could bring in a big carp or and like make out with it, or you make out with it.
There's a lot of stunts that like I could do.
I'm not into I don't want to do the stunts. And I love
go get some old Coke and some old.
Yeah, and I love there's a form of prank I really enjoy, and then unfortunately that's turned into this. Some people don't understand what a prank is, and they're mean-spirited and awful. Like people throwing bags of flour at each other inside of Walmart. People have to clean up after you. You know, like, but and then there's way better content out there to make than and it's just bad imitation of some of the better creators. I can't come up with the guy's name. I know you would recognize.
I have a shift I've made myself recently, which is a guy I looked up to when I was growing up was like Tom Green. Tom Green would do some hilarious, crazy stuff. And I thought it was funny and it was new and special. Now everybody, they're out on the street. They're doing crazy stuff. It's not as unique anymore. And it's kind of like, oh, there's another guy with his camera, trying to get attention. It's like sad. It's kind of turned into a sad thing.
It's sad. And yes.
And it is a way to get views. You go out there and you make a scene and you'll probably get views, but I don't personally think it's I think it's lost its thing. It's lost its special thing that it had.
It isn't Tom Green.
Yeah.
Was special. The one thing, and I'm sure you've probably seen it, where he goes up to people with a microphone and it's got like dog shit on top. What do you think about New Jersey? And he's putting it right in people's face. And they're like, ah! Classic. And in a way, these weren't good pranks. These weren't good, clean, like unharmful pranks. But it didn't cross a line. There was a line he didn't cross while he was doing these things. Like these were pretty harmless, funny, shocking, but not awful. And some people have just taken it to the next level. And people could get hurt. And it's malicious. Some of them are screwing people's days up. Tom Green didn't fuck someone's day over.
Right. He was in good fun spirits, but like my thing was just the amount of it is just like there's 50 million people doing it every single day. It's lost its special.
It's not special anymore, and there's too many people who like to stand out. They do awful things like Johnny Somali,
and they do it bad. So he might have even done it where he got the laugh and it was funny on some level, but now it's just bad.
Yeah,
and like I just see so much bad like content on the street that I'm like so bored with it that it's like not good anymore.
Well, like I mentioned, Johnny Somali.
Who is that?
He would go to different countries, and like the people of Korea are really respectful, and he would do awful things. There was like this one shrine to like trafficked girls, and he like disrespected it, kind of thing.
There's a lot of Twitch streamers or content creators who basically get shamed out of their, they don't make stuff anymore because they had some big controversy.
Yeah,
there was.
Johnny Somali himself, he got kicked out of Japan.
Yeah,
like he had to flee, because he obstructed a construction site, like with his thing. Like he was screwing up people's workplaces, and then in Korea, I think he's going to be doing some time in jail.
Yeah, because
he messed with the locals too much. And
this is the dark side of content creation.
Yeah,
you can take it too far, end up in jail.
Good. And no one feels bad for Johnny Somali, because
just hated and shamed.
Well, you know what? We're not as high, and you know a lot of the stuff that you just mentioned, the awful pranks and this and that, is one of the contributing factors why we are no longer a high trust society. We used to be a high trust society where there were no locks on products at 7-Eleven. Or CVS or Walgreens. We did not have a reason to do these things.
Yeah.
Where you could be in the middle of the city and leave your bike up front and not worry about it. Now, if you don't have a good enough lock on your bike, it's gone. And if you leave it there for too long, your bicycle seat's taken, or just people do awful things to each other. And for no good reason with not enough repercussions. And we already have so many people in our jails that something's got to change. We need to become a better, more honorable people. And the people of Southeast Asia, a lot of these countries, they do not tolerate. And some of it is harsh penalties like caning and other awesome treatment for malevolent
basically
behavior.
Our society, people just push the limits, and they, now there are no limits. I mean, there's less, people don't get. Then there's so much to it. I can't even get into it all.
So, what would you say is the biggest mistake you've made making content? It could be either, like an actual practical thing, like the editing, or it could be also philosophical or whatever. What would you say?
I already went over the answer I'm going to give you, which is the consistency.
Okay.
It's just like, if you're not consistent, you're not going to have an audience.
Yeah. They,
I don't know what other mistakes I've made. I mean, like I said, I don't have any shame, so.
Well,
if I did anything embarrassing,
I'm going to tell you what your biggest mistake is.
Yeah.
Your editing skills suck.
Well, you haven't watched all my content. You might be basing that on two things. So.
Well, I just, I'm saying it because I realized that I'm the only one doing the editing for.
Well, I haven't done anything for what we're doing here. I've done zero.
That's
here.
just a resentment.
That's consistency. I got to get into the flow.
Yeah. What did you anything you anything that you underestimated on, like, either the workload or how hard it is to get views? Or
here's what it's about, this consistency thing again, which is, it's going to have to be a job for you. You can't do it. You can't half-ass it. And so you have to take it really seriously, and you can't have all these different things going on. I have too many things going on, so you have to prioritize. For me to actually have any success in this, I know that I have to get consistent, and I know that I'm not being consistent.
Yeah.
So
got to keep pumping it out.
All that I'm doing is just keeping my head above water here, and I'm in front of a camera, and I have my different channels, but they have the content that's on there. But because I'm not consistent, I'm not able to grow.
Yeah. So what is your motivation? What keeps you in the game?
Just that I'm comfortable with moving forward, just always be moving forward, always be taking steps towards your goals. It's better to do a little something than nothing.
Well, and
because you can do nothing and disappear, but if you do a little something, you're moving towards.
Well, and to build on that question,
yeah,
is your first video was 2010, 11, 12?
I have a funny one from 2006.
2006. He's been at it for 20 years, folks.
That one has 20,000 views. It's a video of me pretending to drag my cousin through the desert.
Okay.
I have another one on that same channel where I went and watched Trump when he was promoting his book, and we're all chanting Trump, 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 Trump. So that one has some views.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what motive with that first video of yours? What did you get hit by lightning, or
it used to be so exciting.
Fall on your head?
I still carry this excitement, which is we can create our own show.
Yeah.
When I was a teenager, we didn't have access to all this equipment and all this fun and all this exposure, and to be able to be what you say. Hey, we got 50 views. That means 50 people, might have watched 5 minutes of this. That's an audience. That's a what was the word I used? Either a potential or a
platform.
Yeah, I have a platform, and like you have to really be grateful for that, because I was not able to get 5 people to watch me when I was in 2000, even if I wanted them to, to really work hard to get 5 views.
Yeah. And you'd probably get arrested if you got more than that. If you're doing something, people would be calling the cops on you. All right. So last thought.
And don't underestimate those 5 views or those 50 views, because those might be the people who will be guests on your show and open you up to a new audience and all these different things.
It's not just your drunk uncle watching you.
I invited Steven on my show 2 years ago, and now we have a podcast studio together.
Now we have a studio.
You can't underestimate the power of just doing things.
So 1 year from now, 1 year from today, the 18th of May, where do you want this whole thing to be? Realistically.
In an ideal scenario.
Realistically, though.
I'm putting more effort into it. And, I mean, a good goal that I've always had, I don't think I'll hit it in a year, but like having 20,000 subscribers is a pretty decent size audience.
It is.
Yeah. I think I might have 2,000 at the most if I work really hard in a year, but you never know where things are going to build. But a good, they say 20,000 is kind of like the tipping point where you're able to start supporting yourself. But that number might have grown now. It's probably 50,000 now or something. Yeah.
Well, there's the advertisers, hey folks, I have GamerSups, that if you use my code, you can, there's that. There's that.
But you were talking about in this episode, like the difference between 20,000 people who casually scrolled by versus the difference between 20,000 people who casually scrolled by versus 20,000 loyal viewers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take 500, honestly.
Yeah,
500 people that
huge.
watch my stuff. That'd be awesome.
It's huge. That's a business. That's the size of any business. They have, 200 to 500, even like a bar. Like they have hundreds of people at the most.
Well, you got like 10,000 people who know of the place and pop in semi-regular, from time to time. You got your 50 people who are there every day, kind of thing.
And you're kind of like 200 to 500 kind of people who you'll see here and there throughout.
Yeah, very, regularly enough where you recognize them on you see them often enough. Yeah, I would love this channel, honestly, if the milestone, 1,000 subscribers, that level of monetization so we can get our 12 cents a month. That's, I would love that. And honestly,
12 cents a month.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
It
is attainable. 12 cents a month is attainable.
It's attainable.
Yeah.
We don't, thankfully, the electricity is part of the rent here, so that 12 cents would offset all the work, and it wouldn't, our expenses don't go up for the production of this thing. So, well, is there any other thoughts about, YouTube or content creation that you have before we close?
Like I said, you never know what positive effects creating is going to have in video creation, in any creation. But when you put yourself out there, you don't know, maybe Steven will find his wife by doing a show here at this. Just pulling out a random scenario.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Let's just maybe I'll find my wife, because Steven, he might already have potential wife.
Maybe,
Let's just say for myself, that's something that you could never quantify.
Brandon likes flowers.
Flowers?
I don't know. Well, my last little tidbit.
That's not even a good example, but maybe you'll find somebody who you go into business with, or that gives you some $1 million you make from
something.
Gavin Newsom.
Yeah.
He makes you the head governor. He makes you the.
Oh, actually, if I just
governor.
become one of his little lackeys to launder money through his nonprofit type stuff, because his wife is starting to get the attention of, because she has a nonprofit and a lot of state money goes through it and nothing really happens with the money. It's like fix the homeless problem and 200 people, $200 million goes into it and only 2 people get help, kind of thing. There's a lot of grift. So yes, if any politician needs a grift, needs a lackey for the grift, I'll play ball. I'll even become an artist. You pay me 25 grand, I'll nail a banana to the wall, and you could say, and then have it appraised for $50 million. You don't have to pay taxes that year.
I've heard of that before.
Yeah, that's how the ultra rich work. Well, to end it for me, and I've probably repeated this, 1 million times, but it's kind of the mantra. If you believe in something, don't wait for the stars to align. Don't wait. If you're a content creator, or you dream of being a content creator, don't wait for 10,000 people to tell you, yes, I will watch your stuff. Just get started. You can do it on your phone. You could literally just get a phone, put it against a big water jug so it doesn't move, and talk to it, or anything. And this is true with any business or anything that motivates you.
Yeah.
Just get started. If you just want to be a good painter, you want to paint pictures, you're going to have to get started. It's going to be your worst result the first time, and you're going to get better. The thing is, after you get started, hone your skills, hone what you've done. There's a million bits of free advice out there and just try not to pick up bad habits, pick up good habits, and learn what you can. And, but don't wait for the stars to line up for you to get started.
And like we talked about on this show today, is like, there is a lot of reason and a lot of potential to believe that you can go and make this profitable. A lot of people are making it happen.
Yeah. And YouTube's growing. It's not going anywhere.
A lot of people less talented than you and less entertaining than you are making a living out of this.
I hate those people. I wish, I want the success that they have. Well, you know what? I got to work hard for it. That's the whole point.
Well, you could just play video games and talk over video games and be the number one YouTuber of all time.
PewDiePie.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. But
you just wouldn't want to do that, or you just wouldn't think of that. But
I don't have a good enough gaming chair. Yeah. See, that's what's stopping me as an excuse.
Don't make excuses.
Yeah. Don't make excuses. Just do it. There's 14-year-olds that are kicking our asses right now because they got started. And I'm curious about the income. Is YouTube allowed to pay you directly, or does it got to go to your parents like Hollywood?
I have no idea.
Yeah, because like Hollywood, you got the kids. Like Gary Coleman was a star before he turned 18. His parents spent everything before he got it.
Yeah.
They passed laws so that the kids have to collect certain, to have money set aside.
I know nothing about.
Yeah, I'm glad to be free of those rules.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, with that, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, comment. Tell us how much you hate us.
I hate you, Steve. No, I'm just